Welcome back to Chat Like a Native. So it's that time of year, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That feeling of a clean page, a fresh start. And we all do it. We make these huge, emotionally satisfying plans like, this is the year I master English. I'm going to study for 2 hours every single
It
day.
feels great when you write it down.
It feels fantastic. Right up until, real life kicks back in, work starts up, your energy is low, maybe you miss a week because you're sick, and then that massive plan, it just becomes this huge weight.
And then it all crashes,
Mm.
and you feel like you failed.
Exactly. You feel like you failed entirely. So if any of that sounds familiar, this conversation, this is your gentle reset.
Right. What we want to give you here is a path to consistent daily progress.
Yeah.
That is, and this is the key, guaranteed to survive your worst day. We are moving past the big broken promises.
And focusing on tiny habits instead. The core idea here really is that the best plan isn't the hardest plan. Not at all.
It's the one you can actually repeat.
Small wins repeated over and over. That's what builds real fluency, not burnout.
And to help organize this, we've boiled it down into a really punchy framework. We're calling it 5-1-N-2.
5, 1, and 2. Okay, let's hear it.
It stands for a 5-minute routine, one clear direction, and the rule to never miss twice. That's it. That's the new architecture for your learning.
Okay, let's unpack that. I think we need to start with the psychology of why we fail first. Why do we always begin with these massive goals, improving everything at once, listening, speaking, grammar,
All of it.
only for it to just crash and burn when real life gets in the way?
Well, it's a fascinating psychological trap, isn't it? The big goal feels so motivating in the moment, but it creates this huge cognitive load. You have to decide what to study, when to do it, how to get motivated.
That's exhausting just thinking about it.
It is, especially on a random Tuesday when you're tired.
Mhm.
Big goals rely on motivation, which, comes and goes. Small habits, they just bypass that completely.
And this is where that reset rule comes in. Small wins beat big promises.
Precisely. A huge study schedule, it might feel good for your ego for a day or two, but a tiny repeatable habit is what actually builds the neural pathways. It builds real confidence.
The analogy you shared earlier was perfect, I think. It just clarifies everything. Treat English like brushing your teeth.
Exactly.
You don't brush for 2 hours once a month and expect good results. You do it for a short time every single day.
And that's the whole point of sustainability. A tiny habit is powerful because it takes almost zero willpower to start. It fits into your actual life, and it builds confidence through repetition. That repeatability is the real engine of progress, not intensity.
Okay, so let's build this thing. Let's start with the 1 and 5, 1 and 2. Step
Yeah.
1, choose your one English direction.
I see so many learners trying to do it all at once.
Yeah.
Why is that like trying to carry 6 bags of groceries?
Because you drop everything. Your focus is just fractured. The key here is that focus creates faster, more visible progress. So for the next, say, 30 days, you should be absolutely ruthless and pick just one target.
So you're not ignoring the other skills forever. Not at all. You're just giving your brain a single, clear objective for a short period. So let's say your focus is speaking confidence.
Okay, what does that look like for a month?
It means every learning minute is directed at that. You stop worrying about complex grammar articles or trying to read a novel. Instead, you focus on using new words out loud or practicing pronunciation. You channel all your energy into one spot.
And that focused energy creates much faster, more satisfying progress. I get that. Less guilt about what you're not doing.
Exactly.
All right, now for the centerpiece, the 5. Step 2, build a 5-minute, always possible routine. Now, I have to push back a little here. 5 minutes, it sounds, well, it sounds like not enough.
And that is the most common reaction, for sure. But you have to separate the goal of the routine from the outcome. The goal isn't fluency in 5 minutes.
The goal is just to start.
The goal is to build a habit so small, so easy, that you can do it on your absolute worst day. When you're stressed, tired, late, 5 minutes is still possible.
It's the inertia breaker.
That's the perfect way to put it. If your goal is 30 minutes and you only have 20, you feel like a failure and you do nothing. If your goal is 5 and you do 7, you feel like a winner.
Can we run through a couple of specific examples of what that 5 minutes could look like?
Absolutely. Let's take option A, the 5-minute listening boost. It's 3 tiny tasks. 1, listen to a short clip, maybe 60 seconds.
Okay.
2, write down just 3 words you hear clearly. We're not testing comprehension of the whole story, just clarity. And 3, say 1 sentence you heard out loud. Practice the rhythm.
I love that. It's so surgical. You're working on focus, reception, and output, not just passive listening.
Precision is everything. Now compare that to Option D, the 5-minute writing reset.
Hmm.
Perfect for a low-energy day.
Right.
You just write 5 short sentences about your day. Use one new word you learned recently. And then just reread and improve one of those sentences.
That's a whole writing session in miniature. You've got idea generation, vocabulary, and editing.
All in 5 minutes. Low pressure. The magic is just getting over that initial hurdle of starting. Once you start, you'll often find yourself going for 10 or 15 minutes anyway.
Which leads us perfectly to step 3. Attach English to something you already do. Stop relying on motivation. Find a trigger.
Yes, this is classic habit stacking. Instead of a vague goal like, I'll study after dinner, which is easy to skip, you link the English habit to something you already do without fail.
So give us some real-world examples.
Okay, think about your daily rhythm. If you work from home, maybe it's, when I sit down with my morning coffee, I do my 5 minutes.
I could do that.
Or if you commute, when the train doors close, I open my flashcard app. Or even after I put the kids to bed, I listen to English while I load the dishwasher. You're just adding a thin English layer to your existing day.
I'm not trying to create a whole new lifestyle.
Exactly, which is why it actually works.
Now, what about burnout? Step 4 is to make it fun on purpose. This feels important for the long haul. How do we keep things going without it feeling like homework all the time?
This is a smart strategy. It's definitely not cheating. The goal is to use English as entertainment. So even when your serious study takes a break, the language doesn't die.
And what does that look like? Beyond, just watching a movie.
It could be finding an online forum in English about a hobby you love, like gardening or video games. Or find a song you love, pull up the lyrics, and just look up a few slang words they use.
Or even just writing silly captions in English on your social media.
Yes. If English is also a source of joy and fun, you'll keep coming back to it, even when you're tired. Consistency through enjoyment is incredibly powerful.
I like that. Okay, next is about using those little gaps in the day. Step 5, use steady on-the-go moments.
Right. We all have them. Waiting in line, waiting for the kettle to boil, cleaning the house. These are usually just wasted moments.
So what can you realistically do in, 90 seconds?
You use them for high-repetition, low-effort tasks. While the coffee is brewing, review 5 flashcards. While you're stuck in traffic, repeat one difficult sentence out loud to nail the pronunciation.
I've heard these called coins. Tiny on their own, but they add up fast.
They really do.
Yeah.
And they reinforce that core belief. I'm someone who practices English every day, no matter what.
Okay, finally, let's get to the end, too. Step 6, the gentle goal system. This feels like the safety net for the whole habit. What's the difference between a good goal, like do 5 minutes a day, and an even better goal?
This really gets to the heart of how we think about failure. A perfect streak isn't sustainable for most adults. Life is messy. The even better goal, the more critical one, is to live by the rule of never miss twice.
Never miss twice.
Missing one day is normal. It happens. Never break the habit. But missing 2 days in a row, that's the danger zone.
That's when the habit starts to die.
Statistically, yes. The second miss tells your brain this isn't important anymore. The effort it takes to restart after 2 missed days is so much higher than after just one.
So the goal isn't perfection, it's fast recovery. If you miss Monday, Tuesday is non-negotiable?
Exactly. It's prioritizing consistency over intensity and forgiveness over guilt. And that idea is so closely tied to confidence.
Which brings us to the confidence reset. So many people quit because they just can't feel the progress.
Right? They're waiting for some big test score to tell them they're improving.
But we need to look for the quieter, real signs. What should we be looking for?
You need to shift your focus to internal metrics. Like, are you understanding conversations a little more easily? Do you feel a little less fear when you join a discussion? Are you using new phrases without thinking about it?
And improvement isn't always about jumping to the next level, right? It can be about being stronger and faster within your current level.
That is still very real progress. But our inner critic is so loud, that heavy voice that says, I'm lazy or I'm not good enough. That voice creates long breaks.
So we need a confidence reset, a conscious strategy of self-kindness.
Yes. You need a script, ready for when you slip up. Instead of beating yourself up, you have to be ready to say something kind but strategic.
Like what are these sentences?
Things like, okay, I'm restarting today, right now. Or remind yourself, small is still real. 5 minutes is enough. And my favorite, I missed a day, I did not lose the year.
I missed a day, I did not lose the year. I love that. It's a strategy, not just a nice thought.
Self-kindness is a strategy for consistency. It stops the slip from becoming a fall.
So to bring this all together, there's this simple one-page habit blueprint, a kind of flight plan.
Yeah, and it's effective because it's so simple. Just 5 things to check weekly. First, your one direction, your focus. Second, your 5-minute routine.
So small, it's always possible.
Third, your trigger, the habit you're attaching it to, like your morning coffee. Fourth, your content. Don't waste time deciding what to study. Pick one podcast, one book, one thing.
Removing decision fatigue, that's smart.
And finally, a brief weekly check-in. And the only question you should ask is, what got in the way this week, and how can I make this even simpler? You're always simplifying until failure becomes impossible.
So what this all really means for you listening right now is that the new year, or any new start, it doesn't need this huge, overwhelming pressure. It just needs a small promise you can actually keep.
5 minutes, one direction, repeated 1 week at a time. That's it. Real confidence is built through that relentless consistency, not through these big, flashy bursts of intensity that never last.
Which raises an important final question for you.
Yeah, if your goal is truly consistency, not perfection, look at your learning life right now. What is the single hardest, most annoying thing you can simplify or just completely remove from your routine today?
That one thing that causes the most friction.
What can you get rid of to make sure you can always stick to that never miss twice rule?
Think about that. That small, brave simplification that could save your entire habit. Until next time, keep learning, keep connecting.